I become a little too shy for love? I've been hurt before. All's fair in love and war. So I snuggle up close to the shell I'm living in. If I let
That's so random.
Well, let me sniff.
no,
Whatever.
I'm spinning in a vicious cycle.
There's dust on it.
Instead of doing something
I don't get out of here.
maybe this is right, but I'm still
It's gonna feel nice in your nose, though.
Yeah, I want to go to bed. I'm tired. That just made me instantly exhausted.
I'm sorry, was I? Told you I was a sniper.
I'm spinning in a vicious cycle. I'm scared of doing something I'll regret. Maybe this is right, but I'm still scared.
I know you're showing off the ponytail already. It was making YouTube lag. Come on, a little more, a little more. I want to see the face. And I love the choker. I originally had plans to have a choker myself, but I decided to get rid of it because I thought it was no. Get the hell out of my head! What? 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 Ah! Ah! Get away! Get away!
We can be ourselves and figure out the rest along the way. What if you're everything?
Did I just kill two in one shot?
Fire in my heart, the air I breathe.
Hell yes!
I'm incomplete without you by my side. What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side. I need you by my
No! Damn it! Do the thing! Do the thing! Ah! Hello, hello, and more hello. We're back again. So, this week, well, let me go back a sec and say last week, we covered Electric Cowboy, or Cowboys. I'm not sure. I think it's plural. Sorry. And, they did a collab song with a all-female band called Conquer Divide. So, we got a little taste of them last time, And now I want a bigger taste. A much bigger taste. So, they consider themselves a 5-piece rock / metalcore band. That is technically from the United States, but they have membership, as they put it, from the United States, the UK, and Canada. I did actually look up some info, and they've been around for about 13 years now, I think. Last year, and this will be important for some of you, apparently they were on tour along with The Warning. I think it was just the European parts, but or was it this year? I'm not sure. But I know they do or have toured with a very large number of bands, including Electric Cowboy. I do have a live cover, or I shouldn't say it's a cover, a live performance of the song I think they did with Electric Cowboy. I also have a documentary for us to watch that they did when the band reached 10 years old. So I have a plan for us to watch that as well. But let's do some music first, because right now I've heard one collab song and that's it. So let's go. I'm assuming right now this is going to be pretty hardcore based on the artwork, so hang on.
The fault line's about to blow, and the devil is at my throat. Paved with good intentions, don't you know? I'm staring down a dead-end road.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause for a sec right here, because this is a very pop opening for a metalcore band. Not that that's a bad thing, but not what I was expecting on a song called Paralyzed. So, let's go. Let's go.
Please call the doctor, I just saw a piece of me die. I can't stop the bleed. A string turns to numbness right before my eyes. Awake or asleep. The gravity pulls me below, and darkness is all that I know. I'm breaking down and I need some room to breathe. Oh, oh, 'cause the weight of this has got me down on my knees. How the hell did I wind up here?
Okay, I'm gonna pause again. Obviously, we definitely got what is more metalcore in there. I definitely know where they got the whole this is a metalcore band part. Now we're dropping back into what is that sort of poppy tone. Hi, Brad. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, the more poppy sound. I do have to mention they're a little washed out when they get to like the metalcore part, but let's continue.
Somewhere between all I know and fear, caught my reflection in the rearview mirror. My demons are closer than they appear, and I can't remember the last time that I got
before we get into this next part, I have to say, I swear I've heard a little bit of this before. Maybe like a snippet in a TV show. Maybe. I am not sure where I heard it, but it definitely sounds familiar. So, I had to mention it. Definitely have not heard all of it before. But, yes, I have definitely heard some of it before. Like the main chorus that they just did. The I'm paralyzed part, basically. That I have heard before. So either they're copying it from someone else, or they've made an impression elsewhere, and I've heard it that way, which is probably the case. But let's get back to it.
Can't save me. Why am I my own worst enemy? Haunted by my own worst memories. Why am I my own worst enemy? Just push it down, push it down, push it down.
Oh, now this is metal.
I just need some room to breathe. 'Cause the weight of this has got me down on my knees. I think I'm paralyzed, paralyzed. Oh, I think I'm paralyzed, paralyzed. I wanna scream. I need some room to breathe. You can't save me. You can't save me.
All right. So, some thoughts. I gotta say, they really do love to mix their genres. I mean, they start out very pop. Totally normally pop. Conventional song in the extreme. They then get into what is definitely like a metalcore-ish part. They go back and forth between the two for a while. There's a bit of a switch to what is more like hard rock rather than either of the other two. And then, because they haven't done enough switch of genre, they throw in some definite, like, metal type of metal. Yeah. And then, of course, they end back in, like, pop mode. That is a lot of switching, okay? I would expect that with some bands, definitely. Linkin Park does that a little bit. They like to mix up the tone of their song. Not so much the entire genre, but definitely the tone that they're doing. The Warning does that a lot too. They like to switch things up a little bit. More so in some songs than others. But this is like an extreme example of that mode switching. I'm kind of here for it. Just putting that out there. We haven't heard enough to say for sure, but I like it so far. So, let's do some Welcome to Paradise. I want to see if this is normal for them. You got some movie vibes here. Okay, so instrumentally, very heavy, like hard rock vibe. And then you get the vocals in, and we're definitely in the heavy metal space. Definitely. Like, no going back. Wow. And she's definitely got that, like, heavy metal sort of screaming vocal totally down. I mean, we heard some of that last time, but there was a lot more, like, variety. This time we're just going right into it. Like, gut punch of vocals. All right, let's go. Let's see what they got.
Obsession.
Oh, there we go. The switch up. Stop just so we can start commenting on this. But I think I've figured out they definitely have dueling singers. Both are definitely vocalists for the group. And the one does like the heavy metal screaming parts, and the other does the more melodic vocalizations. Ironically, at the moment in this video, they both seem to have red hair. Obviously, the one in front of us is the melodic type of vocalist, and hers is not pure red, but the other one is definitely a redhead. So, I'm starting to get to tell the difference between the two, slowly. Give me time. Give me time.
If you don't look, then it won't decay. Indifference, we're dancing on our own graves. We all go out the way we can. Powerless to stop what we became. But the sun gives way. One shape till we suffocate.
This video.
Powerless to stop what we became. But the sun
very unique paradise. Just gonna slide that out there. Oh, there's a radio added. Maybe it's the radio I've heard it on before. Alright, alright. Yeah, that is a lot more metalcore than the first one. The first one was all over the place. This is far more conventional. Though the different vocalists definitely give it a kick. Switching between them to change things up. I think this one is newer. It's called New Heaven. So let's visit New Heaven.
I took a walk with the gods, flirting with the demons in my head. I got all I could want, but I can't find the meaning. No, God, I need a new heaven. Thought I had a voice, but now I'm choking on the feeling. Cried my way to the top, but I still can't reach it. Oh, God, I need a new heaven. I'm losing my faith, and I can't be saved. Paid the price, wore the crown, drank the holy water just to spit it out. The higher I reach, the less I believe. Said the prayer.
Alright. I gotta stop for a sec. So, first, this is definitely hard rock. It's not metalcore. It's not heavy metal. Right now, at least, it is definitely hard rock. She does a great job as a vocalist. I mean, we've already heard her a few times, so I'm sold on her vocalizations. She does a great job. Also, has this priest wronged her? I get the feeling he has, because he's sleeping and she's armed, and that could be problematic.
Took the vow, I did the time, now get me out. God, I need a new heaven.
Oh, that's a nice vocalization.
I put on a show just to cover up who I am, and I just sold my soul, and it's not coming back. Oh, God, I need a new heaven. My dreams became a curse wrapped around my neck. There's no signs of life, and it's too late to turn back. God, I need a new heaven. I'm losing my faith, and I can't be saved. Paid the price, wore the crown, drank the holy water just to spit it out. The higher I reach, the less I believe. Said the prayer, took the vow, I did the time, now get me out. God, I need a new heaven.
Okay, I gotta. We've heard this once already, but I love this chanting. This chanting is great. The like choral chanting definitely adds to like the church type of vibe. It's a very church type of thing, and I definitely think it adds a lot of impact. So I just had to mention that. But let's continue. Let's continue. Okay, we had to get a little bit of actual, like, heavy metal in tone. But we got there. We definitely got there. It might have been brief, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
And I can't be saved. Paid the price, wore the crown, drink the holy water just to spit it out. The higher I reach, the less I believe. Said the prayer, took the vow, I did the time, now get me out. Gonna need a new heaven. Gonna need a new heaven. Gonna need a new heaven.
All right. All right. Wow, that's from a year ago. I thought that was more recent. But I think that's a very good example of the group. More so than Paralyzed, where we started, even though Paralyzed definitely jumps us around a lot. It's a lot more of a conventional song than that one, definitely. I want to hear The Optimist, though. This should be a thing. Oh, we're definitely starting on one ear for those that don't have headphones on. Total left side already.
I lost my head.
By the way, this is a collab song, apparently.
Have I become so numb to everything? Wanna stop the world and just kill the conversation. Try to walk the line to find some peace of mind. I'm searching for a silver lining, but I feel like a dying breed, running out of lies to believe. If life is a dream, wake me. When it comes to pointing the blame, everyone's got something to say. Screaming for change, but staying the same, expecting the cycle to break. I don't want your cure. I don't need your savior to give me a sign of life underneath. I just need to know how to heal the hollow, to keep the optimist alive in me.
I'm falling from pride, tripping over those fault lines, knowing all this time, this silence doesn't make a sound.
When it comes to pointing the blame, everyone's got something to say. Screaming for change, but staying the same, expecting the cycle to break. I don't want your cure. I don't need your savior to give me a sign of life underneath. I just need to know how to heal the hollow, to keep the optimist alive in me. I don't want your cure. I don't need your savior to give me a sign of life underneath. I just
Okay. I have to stop. I haven't paused this entire time. But I love this duet. Definitely a solid rock, hard rock, maybe alt rock song. But I love their vocals. I definitely love the vocals. All right. So let's go. Let's go. Let's finish this. All right. All right. Obviously, the other band was 10 years. And it was just featuring the, I guess you'd call her the lead singer from Conquer Divide. So let's get back to more actual Conquer Divide. This is Messy, which seems accurate.
Doing this on purpose, giving me a glimpse of your life through a filter. Drinking champagne, alibis, middle fingers. I don't even wanna know, so I just leave it all alone. But how did it get this way between us? Maybe that's why I didn't wanna believe it. Hiding between the lines until I saw with my own eyes. It feels like we are lost again. So full of mixed emotions. When do we let this die? When did the spark leave both of our eyes? How did it get so messy, messy? I'm drinking without you, I'm thinking about you, and it all falls down before our eyes. Messy, messy, reckless behavior. I'm not a lead here. If this is heaven, I don't wanna know what hell is like. When did it start and where does it end? Did we build castles just to play pretend? You slept in my
All right. I have to pause. So, thoughts. This one is like pure poppy rock so far. I totally don't expect them to keep it that, but for almost a minute and a half, it's been pop rock. And it reminds me a lot of Names. Me and Names don't get along. I swear. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Oh, I'm totally blanking. But the warning song about drowning. Jeez. It's totally reminding me of that in like a lot of the like tonality. Obviously much different lyrics, but that's the impression I'm getting. I think the warning is a little less ironically messy. A lot of times their like instrumentation is a lot more like washed out than the warning tends to be. That's just something I've noticed, but it doesn't really detract too much. I mean, this song is meant to be messy after all, right? It's also a great meme. All right, let's go.
bed. You left me on red. Your love is so cold that I can see my own breath. I know I got issues and you're at your games. I'm trying to track you down, but I'm just running in place, chasing something that can never be mine. I can't win when you're moving the finish line. It feels like we are lost again. So full of mixed emotions. When do we let this die? When did the spark leave both of our
I don't think I have any more commentary on the song itself, but I gotta say, I really like the lead singer's look for this one. You know me, I usually like the red hair. I'm a sucker for a cute redhead, but she does like blonde hair really well. Really well. I wish I knew her name. It's gotta be in here, right? Which one's which? Are you not gonna tell me? Probably not. Darn, I don't know who is the lead singer. Okay. I'm guessing clean vocals means lead singer in this case. So that's Kia, apparently. So yeah, Kia is the one that had the cute blonde hair and a really cute dress, actually. I liked her dress too. And her nails. She was doing really great with her look in this one, definitely. Sorry, I know that's not what you come here for, but I had to put that out there. Anyways, let's go to some chemicals.
You always bring your invitation.
Okay, so already not even 30 seconds into this, we had some heavy metal scream already, and now we're into this soft ballad song. Man, the switch ups.
A chance to be another me. 'Cause you know I'm not your friend without your peace offering. You see these scars, the skin and bone. I'm hanging on by a rope, but you'd steal my last breath and wait for a chance to push me right off the edge. Paranoid, I'm gonna have to sell my soul. Tie it up and hope it don't make a sound. Chemicals are gonna make me lose control. Light it up and burn it all to the ground. If I didn't know better, I thought at least you were on my side. But you know me better than me, and you love it when I'm paralyzed. You know it's irresponsible to pretend it's a favor, to let someone else pull the trigger when you put the bullet in the chamber. Paranoid, I'm gonna have to sell my soul. Tie it up and hope it don't make a sound. Chemicals are gonna make me lose control. Light it up and burn it all to the ground.
Oh, I like this. Where they drop just to the instrumental here. It's not quite a build, but it feels like one. I mean, they're not really like adding or like increasing in any way what's going on with the music, but it feels like it's building to something. And obviously it was, because then we get into some metal. Obviously, a lot of switch up in that one. Though, only 2, like, styles. Let's put it that way. We'll call them styles. Or modes. Whatever you would like to call them. There's only really, like, 2 of those. And they just switch back and forth. But they do it really nicely in a lot of that. Give me a minute. I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry. You never know when you need to use the restroom. All right, let's jump to some atonement. There's a lot of religious themes in here. Oh, we're going hard from the start. Ooh, I like that beat too.
Applause you wanted from the crowd.
Okay, okay, I have to pause for a sec. Only because that was a very interesting vocal duet. I don't know if you all caught it, but you have the clean singer, as they put it on the wiki, who's doing most of the vocals, at least since that little bit at the beginning. And then you had the one that does the dirty vocals, for lack of a better term, who comes in with the scream to accent the clean vocals here. That is nice. I like that.
I don't ever wanna know what it feels like to become a shell of myself just like you. Diving deep to help you find your voice, but you can't find meaning in an empty room. We were fighting hard against the current, right when we needed you the most. Oh, don't you see, we don't believe a thing that you say. When it got hard, you let us go. You turned your back. I'm wasting my time. It's all that you are. So don't look back. Get out of my life. We don't know who you are anymore. Does it feel? How does it feel? To be a filthy we're picking up the pieces. Your best wasn't good enough. And if you wanna exalt you got nothing from us. You let it slip through your hands, haunted by thoughts when you're alone. You wonder what could have been if you didn't let it go. You turned your back. I'm wasting my time. It's all that you are. So don't look back. Get out of my life. We don't know who you are anymore. We don't know who you are. We don't know who you are. We don't know who you are. We are not the same.
All right, that is classic metalcore. Yes. Man, that was only 2 years ago, too. All right, and so I don't have to call them the clean vocalist and the dirty vocalist. Let's see if I can learn the name of the other one. Is it Kristen? Janelle? It's a little hard to tell. Yeah, Kia is definitely the one her and Kristen, which says rhythm guitar, bass, and lead guitar, and backing vocals. But I don't think she's the one that does the unclean vocals. And Janelle, it says, does those. and also does bass. There's also Susie at the very beginning who does the same thing. But, you know, it says, like, ended. But this is weird because it says 2020 to 2024 and 2014 to 2018. Man, I need to know much more about them to be able to tell. Okay, it says the unclean vocalist and bassist, Janelle, would be stepping back to focus on personal endeavors. And Madison Spencer would be with them. I don't even think she's listed in here. Spencer, maybe, is, I think, how that's put in here. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what's going on with that. And it doesn't actually link to Madison Spencer up here. So, no clue who exactly that is. But let's go back to some music. And not have me get confused trying to figure out what's going on with the band. All right, this is a cover of Bad Guy. Nice beat.
White shirt, now red, my bloody nose. Sleeping, you're on your tippy toes. Creeping around like no one knows. Think you're so criminal. Bruises on both my knees for you. Don't say thank you or please. I do what I want when I'm wanting to. My soul so cynical. So you're a tough guy, like you're really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puffed guy. I'm the bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy. Duh.
Okay. This is definitely a cover, but it's got some flair. I mean, come on. That was flair.
I'm the bad guy. I like it when you take control, even if you know that you don't own me. I'll let you play the role, I'll be your animal. My mommy likes to sing along with me, but she won't sing the song if she reads all the lyrics. She'll pity the men I know. So you're a tough guy, like you're really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puffed guy. I'm the bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy. Duh. I'm the bad guy. I'm only good at being bad.
Oh wow. Okay, okay. This is definitely not your typical cover at this point. Let's see how they land this song here. I think that if I was doing this as a video and not as a live stream, I would totally go and look at the original version of this, and then compare back to back. Because, yeah, there is a lot of difference there. They definitely add their flair. And what a way to end. I mean, you knew they were going to do a switch up. It's almost always what they do. All right. There's a acoustic version of Chemicals, which is next. But I might do Nightmares first, because, we need some nightmare fuel. So, let's jump over. Okay, I have to check. Okay, this is 9 years ago. Because I'm like, that doesn't sound or look quite like what I was expecting. I was starting to wonder if maybe there were different people doing it. But I think that's just 9 years of difference for you. For the moment. So, I really like this quiet part, just like dropped into the middle of the song. I mean, it's nearly at the end, but we still got like a minute left. We already see in this song the pattern that they do in much newer songs. There's a lot of, solid metalcore in this. And then they have these sections which are, almost peaceful and melodic, dropping back to be like a ballad. And then we all know at this point that they're going to go back to metalcore. It's just going to happen. And it's going to feel like a kick in the ass when it gets there. So, just for the end. Just for the end. I guess that's the way to do it, though. Alright, so. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really want to say about this. Especially this one really reminds me of like a more produced like Kitty, or maybe like some Plush. Plush did a few songs that kind of remind me of this. Yeah, I think that's definitely, I mean, it's not going to be an influence directly. In fact, if anything, Conquer Divide might have influenced Plush, because Plush is a lot newer, from my understanding. But definitely a similar feel in this song, at least. All right, let's do some acoustic. We got to hear how they differ things up. Oh. Already, you can tell. You can tell. This is lockdown era. Everyone in their own space, sharing everything on Zoom. Yeah, we're in lockdown.
friend without your peace offering. You see these scars, the skin and bone. I'm hanging on by a rope, but you'd steal my last breath and wait for a chance to push me right off the edge. Paranoid.
Okay, I have to comment. I like that the drummer does the little tap tap. I appreciate that. Since you're not really going to be playing the drums for an acoustic song. But I like that little flair. I like that little flair.
I'm gonna have to sell my soul, tie it up and hope it don't make a sound. Chemicals, they're gonna make me lose control. Light it up and burn it all to the ground. If I didn't know better, I'd have thought at least you were on my side. But you know me better than me, and you love it when I'm paralyzed. You know it's irresponsible to pretend it's a favor, to let someone else pull the trigger when you put the bullet in the chamber. Paranoid, I'm gonna have to sell my soul, tie it up and hope it don't make a sound. Chemicals, they're gonna make me lose control. Light it up and burn it all to the ground. I'll fight this fire with gasoline. I'll fight this war, 'cause this is a social disease. I'll fight this fire with gasoline. I'm waking up in an American dream, self-medicated. American dream, self-medicated. Paranoid, I'm gonna have to sell my soul, tie it up and hope it don't make a sound. Chemicals, they're gonna make me lose control. Light it up and burn it all to the ground.
Alright, alright. I know we're getting near the end, but I have a few comments I need to throw out there before I forget. So, the acoustic version is almost like haunting in its like soundscape, for lack of a better term. It's also not muddy and washed out, which is what I kind of thought of the other version, the normal version. It's a lot cleaner. It's a lot easier to hear. And yeah, it's got that haunting tone. But yeah, I think that's all I had for the moment. Let me finish this.
I'll cover the tracks and retrace my steps, but my dear
The way they end that, too. That is definitely a haunting melody. Oh my. I love how it comes up with little extras that I'll need to look at after. So much. So much to do. Alright. Oh, this is another acoustic. The Japan exclusive of Eyes Wide Shut. Pause for a second. Man, it's these acoustics when you actually realized how good Kia is at singing. Man, she's got range and talent, and it's easy to hear. I don't think she's as good as, like, Pow or Danny of The Warning, but she could definitely get in my, like, top 20 female vocalists pretty easily. I think. I mean, I've only heard her for, like, a day. But in these acoustics, you really get a sense of... Alright. That is so tragically beautiful. And I only say tragically because the lyrics are very, like, tragic. It's not quite that haunting sort of tone from the other acoustic version, but it's like all their acoustic songs are, like, dark. They go places, okay? Yeah, they definitely are going some places. Alright. Next. This is a live version of them with Electric Cowboy on the song they did. So, we had to see it. Let's go. They just sent the crew out with iPhones to record.
That's fucking amazing. Thank you guys so much. Let's play the next song. Guess what? It's called Fuck Boy.
Oh man, they only bought Kia. Man, that's a little sad.
You know me like one day I wish you would, yeah. Everybody thinks that I'm Mr. Louder! Cause I don't let you think that I'm Mr. Fuckboy, yeah. I know that I don't have any good reputation. Do you wanna be my way out of this situation? But I really wanna know that you want me, really wanna show that I'm worth it. Cause I know I'm better, I'm good for you. Yeah, everybody thinks that I'm Mr. Fuckboy. So if you think that I'm Mr. Fuckboy, get up, don't talk anymore.
Calling me late, you're getting under the skin. Showing up in my place for days, well I think I like it. It's just in my head where rent is free. When you call my name, it hits differently. I need to know why you're good for me.
Come on, everybody!
Yeah, everybody thinks that you're just a fuckboy. Well, maybe you're no good for me. Everybody thinks that you're just a fuckboy. I can't really help but feel I don't care what they say, cause I need you to stay. Yeah, I want you so bad in all the worst ways. Everybody thinks that you're just a fuckboy. Yeah, well, I don't give a fuck. Why they keep talking shit when no one fucking asked? You know I like to watch your eyes roll back. You had a taste and now you're feeling cause you like that. You fuck around but you should know I'm gonna fight
I don't
back.
care what they said, cause I need you to stay. Yeah,
I want you so bad.
in all the worst ways.
I don't care what they say cause I need you to stay. I want you so bad and all
That was nice. That was nice. All right. All right. So the last thing we have is this 10 years in Conquer the Divide interview. Ooh. Okay, that might be a little loud.
All right. Well, hey, Conquer Divide, folks. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
We're good. We are working on an album, so we're in the studio anyway. That's why we're sitting together.
Oh,
and
cool.
yeah, we're trying to make sense of like way too many ideas that are like half ideas, but we've been at it a while, so we're making some progress, I think.
That's cool. So you guys self-engineer?
Yeah. This spot's just in the downstairs of my house. I basically it was maybe we did an album called Feeding the Wolves many years ago.
Very
and
familiar.
That album we did it with Howard Benson in LA, and when we got back from that was back when, budgets for records were insane, and we spent an absolute like fortune, like more than what a house cost to make this album. And we just were like, it was such a rushed thing. We didn't really feel good about the whole thing. There were certain things we loved about it, and then other things we wish we had more time. So then when we got back, I basically was like, I'm going to put my life savings into gear and try to make a cool studio. So
it's come in use quite a bit. Sometimes we've done a couple albums here, but the other thing is at least we can hash out ideas to present to the label and just kind of get the ideas out of our head in a somewhat professional sounding level. Somewhat.
Yeah, that's essentially what we do as well. We record ourselves at home. We're based in 4 different areas. We've got a Canadian drummer. Our singer lives in Colorado. Screamer was based in Texas. And I'm up in Michigan. So we kind of self-record ideas here just on Reaper or whatever, and then send it around and everybody adds their spin on it. And we've always operated like that.
So are you actually making your like finished product that way as well?
No, we fly in. We have all the girls fly into Michigan, and then we record once we're done getting all the ideas down. What DAW are you guys using?
Pro Tools.
Pro Tools. Okay.
I started on that back like 20 years ago, and my brain explodes if I look at another DAW. That's just the one that it feels right. It feels intuitive. But I know that like a lot of my friends use Logic and stuff, and I'm sure it's great, but I'm just so used to Pro Tools.
Our other guitar player uses Logic, and those two have a little bit of a divide sometimes on like what. So
we're on Reaper because it's free. And then we use Ableton Live for shows and stuff. That's cool. What are some of your favorite plugins? Just out of curiosity.
So like the SSL channel strip from Waves, I literally have on almost every channel.
They're geeking out.
Just because it's got the compressor, it's got the EQ, all that. Like that's like my standard go-to. I use a ton of the 1176 plugins. But then so for like actual color and effect, I like the Sound Toys stuff, the effects rack. I use that a ton. Like on his vocal, Effect Rack has like, Decapitator and stuff like that. And just on his lead vocal, it pushes it right up front nicely. So like that.
Have you ever tried the yeah, it sure is. Have you ever tried the Howard Benson vocal suite yet?
Yeah, I do have it. Howard, actually, we were working with Howard when he came out with developing that, and he showed it to us and everything. It definitely has some cool stuff in it for sure.
Yeah. So my husband developed that with him, Joey
wow.
Sturgis.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And we use it as well for all of our demos, and it's a great plugin. Easy. I just pick a preset because I'm not very techy. I
Sure.
like, I'll just pick the pre-made one and I'm like, all right, good enough. Good enough
No,
for a demo.
I'm with you. I'm the king of just using the preset.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
whenever,
sometimes you have to dig a little deeper, but
yeah.
for the most part, it's like you use that. I use it as a starting point and then just barely tweak what I need to. But that's been probably doing our own records, because we've done a couple here and now we're doing this new stuff here, is that like tracking, writing, all that stuff is like one animal, but then
Yes.
mixing is like my own worst enemy. I
Yeah.
drive myself insane with that. Even to the point where the other guys in the band are like, dude, don't touch it, it's fine. And then of course, like, in the middle of the night, I'm going back and forth from the car and losing my mind.
Yep.
So are you the kind of final arbiter on when it's like, when done is done? Like all the other guys are like, no, dude, this is fine. And you're like, no. And then like when it's done, you finally go to them and you're like, we're good. Kind of.
I'll get it where I think it's done. And then Jesse will go, well, what if that one synth was up more and then the vocal here, and there's a delay, I was thinking, and then there's like 9 other things that have to happen. So then done is never actually done. It's when the label goes, hey, you have to turn it in now. It's called running out of time.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So
Oh, man.
if you don't mind to go back a little bit,
Yeah.
give us where you guys started and how it all started and all that stuff.
Gosh, so I had been in 2 all-girl bands prior to this band. They were just in my local area, but I really wanted to pursue this as a career, and it was kind of hard finding people who were serious about it. So I decided to put a new band together and just started auditioning people all over the world, essentially.
Wow.
Initially, our first drummer was from Serbia, if that gives you any idea. So we've really been spread out since the very beginning. But I don't know, I kind of
that's
saw
the way to do it.
I was inspired by bands like Kitty. I'm
Heck
sure you're
yes.
familiar with them.
Heck yes.
Yep.
And I kind of saw a little bit of a gap in the market, I guess, when the whole chord
I told you,
scene
Kitty
took
is a
off,
thing.
Warped Tour, all that. I was like, man, what if we did kind of an all-girl version of like Paramore meets Asking Alexandria? That would be so fun. And so that was kind of where the idea
Man,
for
they're
the
just
band
throwing out the
started.
names.
And obviously we've progressed and grown throughout the years, but yeah.
What year did you start?
So for me, for Conquer Divide, it was 2013. But
Okay, gotcha.
I've been in bands since like 2005.
Nice.
Long time, yeah. And I'm actually a big fan of you guys as well.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the reason we signed a mascot. I was like, oh, all right, 10 years is on this label. Yeah.
Oh man, well,
It
thank
gets
you
the
so
pass.
much.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm a big Tool fan and Perfect Circle fan, so I feel like
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
kind of write in similar modes and stuff, so it's right up my alley.
Well, I mean, literally to this day, this many years later of doing this, we still go, is this too much of a Tool ripoff with like new ideas? Not just the music, but like art ideas.
Everything.
I was sending him art ideas yesterday, and he was like, I don't know, might be too much of a Tool ripoff. I'm like, damn it again.
Yeah, I was like, I love this, but
Yeah,
think it's
I
cool.
feel that.
The bands that when we were, junior, senior in high school, and then those first few years after high school, that time period, all the music that we listen to is so locked in still, it's still
It is.
like, it's not just nostalgic. It's like, it's still like my everyday life. So it's the inspiration from bands like that never stopped. It's like it hit hard when it came on, and then it's like part of my like root system
Musical
now. So
genetics.
it's hard to escape sometimes.
Same, it is. And it crept into our last record a little bit. We one of our most recent singles, Welcome to Paradise, was definitely we were inspired by Tool for that one. We were just kind of messing around, and we're like, why don't we try writing in 10/4 time signature? Tool would do that, right? And so that's kind of what came out. But yeah, that's cool.
We
cool.
there's a new song we're working on like today actually, and we have all the vocals written and tracked for the verses and choruses and all that, but the bridge goes into left field, and it's like, a measure of 5, a measure of 4, a measure of 6, and it does all this crazy jumping around. And it's like that's part of our DNA, that whole being influenced by bands like that when we were younger. And even this morning we were like, should we straighten any of this out, or should we change it, or just let it roll that way? But I think it's tough to fight what you naturally want to do sometimes.
Yeah, it is, and it's more fun that way. I don't know, I think it's cooler to go into different time signatures, and it's something the fans can't get anywhere else, so they're going to come back and listen to that song over and over and over, because they they haven't heard it anywhere else.
And it's inevitable that we're going to pay tribute to our influences, whether we do it consciously or not. So it's kind of cool when somebody, like a fan, catches some riff where they're like, oh yeah, they got that, that's a Tool thing, or it's I don't know, it kind of gives a nice little Easter egg.
Yeah. And then occasionally we have the moments where, like with a riff like that or something, where I'm really stoked on how I constructed it and like the mathematics of it. And I'm like, man, I pulled it off. Like that works, and it's weird and it's cool. But I have that like pride about it, whereas he doesn't, because he's coming in trying to write vocals over it, and he's like, why'd you do that? That doesn't make any sense, So it's like I spend like a day or two creating this thing, but then I have to also be able to step away when I'm like, shit, this doesn't work. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or it doesn't cater to what he needs to do there.
At the end of the day,
writing music is
many
hard.
years of doing this, we've tried to be as neutral as possible, because all of our bubbles will get popped at some point. We'll think we created the greatest thing we've ever done, and then the other band member will come in and be like, it's cool, but, and I do that to him all the time, and he's a really good sport about it. But that's just something you have to learn to do over time.
Yeah.
And you can't hold everything so precious. You got to be willing to look at the big picture of the song itself.
Yeah, we try to put vocals front and center in our band as well. So I can't be precious about the music, that's for sure. We change the key, the tempo, whatever we need to do to cater to our vocalists, essentially. So yeah, that can be tough, but we've had to learn that along the way.
And then for me, it's pressure sometimes when he's like, this is cool, but it's up to you to make it cooler. And it's like, so like we'll have this piece of music he really likes. He goes, I really like this, but if you're not feeling it, then it's we don't even use it. So it's like there's this pressure with vocals. So he and I both work really well on the vocal side of stuff too, where I have an open door policy. Like if he hears a melody or something that really like grabs him, that's stuck in his head, I'll like throw it to me. Let me hear it.
That's cool.
Because I have my tendencies, and sometimes my tendencies can get in my own way. I'm like, oh crap, I already did that on album 3 100 songs ago. It's like tricky to not rip yourself off.
Yeah. And it's good to get a different perspective. Yeah,
like a democratic way that the band works.
Yeah.
Are there any styles that you haven't explored yet that you have been kind of itching to inject into your new music?
Well, the interesting thing with that question is that I think we all like if Jesse and I had it our way, we would love to make a freaking like the most dark, depressing Radiohead like weird album.
Yeah.
But we know that that's not where this band lives, and also when we get on stage, like imagine if you're on stage at a festival with 20,000 people, you feel the need and that energy where you want to go nuts. So I know what this is. I know that we're not that, Radiohead-esque type thing, but I think we both love that, and we inject little tiny bits of it in here and there, like enough that we know we can get away with without losing the essence of the rock thing or whatever. But I think we would love to do something like that because like I said, Radiohead, Nine Inch Nails, the really super dark and and
really
melodic
dark,
Nine
like
Inch Nails.
programming. Like we love the darker side of the programming stuff, like Crosses and Pussifer and stuff like that too. So it's like he said, that's probably what we really gravitate towards on our own as listeners. But we also know that on a performing side of that, keeping the edge and keeping the energy, you find songs that you create sometimes that you don't. Like definitely with me, I've been like, that song's okay, and then you start performing it live and you're like, that's my favorite song to perform live. So you got to kind of be open-minded and patient with everything, and some things are meant for live energy shows and other things are meant to be like headphone, like deep dive.
I think we figured that out on our last couple tours. We had a couple songs we thought would do well and ended up being sleepers, so we had to immediately cut those out of our set. How do you guys go about choosing your set lists? I mean, having so many records out now, how do you pick like
whatever Jesse wants to sing?
Okay.
That's how basically I'll make a list of everything that I think would be badass, and then he crosses all the songs out and then says no. Basically, because we started the band in 1998. I was still in high school at that point. Sophomore in high school is when it all started. And then back then, all the early stuff, even going back to the first label album that we had, The Autumn Effect, there's a ton of really high vocals on there. And that was at an age where that shit was easy at the time. It wasn't like what it is now that we're in our 40s trying to hit these notes.
Chat. I'm gonna stop for a sec, only because I gotta say, your voice changes. Your voice definitely changes. What he's talking about, so easy. So easy. Your voice is so malleable too when you're like a teen. It stops being quite so malleable eventually. All right, that was all I had to say.
So now it is really based on what he feels comfortable with, because musically it's like whatever, like we can play whatever, because we're not depending on our physical body to actually tell us, okay, you can do this song or whatever. But that's been a funny thing that we've had to adapt to over the years, because
because at the end of the day, you want to play and perform stuff that comes across well, and like it also is the same as muscle memory. All the big singles we've had are some of the easiest ones to do, just because of how many times it's been done. So when we add new songs to the set list that haven't been done ever or in a long time, we know it requires a lot more rehearsal. And for me personally, I've got to go rehearse it myself and see how I perform it. He actually, as over the years, we've gone back and forth live to where we'll split up stuff for just so there's not fatigue from touring months after months and everything, like just kind of getting smarter and almost more of an athletic way of doing it versus just back when it was all just raw emotion.
That's good.
But we actually could be way better about rehearsing. Don't let them fool you. We're not very good about preparation or rehearsing.
How long do you guys rehearse for before a tour?
0 most of the time.
Well, it depends on the length of the tour and what it's going into. Like when we come out with a new album and we're trying to play new music and new stage production and everything, there's more rehearsal. We give more, but like lots of times where we've done this for so long, we'll get these random offers like this part of the country, then that part of the country, and it's like we're getting ready to leave next week for 4 shows that'll take about a week, and our drummer doesn't live in Knoxville, so it's like we'll just rehearse on stage, because we know that those shows are going to be pretty much sets and songs of things that you're
used to.
So it just depends on what you're like. If we're doing a full-on headlining tour with new production, you got to kind of get that together.
Yeah, we'll do a few days if it's that, but this year we're doing a bunch of like a week here, a week there, like weird kind of like nothing that's routed 4 to 6 weeks. It's like it's just little bits here and there. So with those, we're kind of just winging it. And
then we see bands back in the day like Deftones. We toured with those guys quite a bit, and see sit on the bus one time. I remember Chino walking in, and Steph's like, "What's the set today?" And he just writes stuff down, and every day it's different. And that just blew our minds that like they had all these songs that they're just ready and willing to throw out on just in Rolodex just to do, because to
wild.
us
I'm too much of like a preparer and planner, like mentally, like I don't know
exactly.
I'd be able to handle that.
Mm-mm.
Are you guys like live? Are you guys playing to a click and all that?
Yeah, we've got in-ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do too. And there's something fun to watch, like Deftones and guys like that grew up not doing that.
And Tool.
Punk
They
rock,
still sound amazing.
but like,
Yeah.
I never want to go back.
I went to a songwriting clinic here in Michigan that Tool did. It was all the members except Maynard, of course. And it was crazy. They were talking about, all playing in different time signatures, and there's no click there, and that's why they stand there, because they're like, if we get off the beat, we can't, there's no one to follow because we're in our own little world over here. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Well, when I look back at like when we first started touring, there was no click, there was no in-ears. It was literally just like get up there and hope for the best. And it's like, there's YouTube videos where some days it's amazing. And then I've seen some performances where we're playing different time signatures, but we're not supposed to be, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, so
that's how we started too. We started without in-ears, and we just upgraded like 3 years ago. So it's relatively new for us as well, but I would never go back.
Yeah.
Once you get used to it, all that structure really allows
I'm here
for
for it.
the show to have a bit of quality control to it, for us at least, like to where there's a comfort space, and the click is that extra band member that like it keeps everybody in line. And
yeah,
once we got used to it, that's just how I think most people do.
So I saw you guys played Blue Ridge last year. How was your experience?
Well, we played last year. So for us, it was actually totally good because we did pre-party. So
you did the pre-party. Okay, so before okay.
We played the night before everything fell apart.
Okay.
So
that's the way to do it.
Great turnout, great crowd, great energy, and then we leave and go on tour to the next city and hear all this chaos that's going on, and it just, we're kind of watching from afar, and the dumpster fire is just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was kind of our experience. It was a dumpster fire for sure.
We've been part of festivals that do that for sure.
We were stuck on stage waiting with our gear for a couple hours because there was only one forklift between all 4 of the big stages. So I'm up there melting in the sun, like babysitting our stuff, and oh man, yeah, it was wild.
Yeah,
Chaos.
they actually, the day that we played, that forklift dropped our monitor rack. It was hauling it across the field and dropped it. And then when we opened it up, our sound guy was like, uh-oh. And I'm like, that's really not good. If he says uh-oh immediately, then it was so there was definitely some like really fast, quick repair work that he had to do to make the show even happen. But yeah, it was scary, but we made it through.
We got out before, I think, you hear all kinds of different stuff, but you guys were in the middle of it. But we got out before, I think a lot of the workers went on strike, or the chaos of like having no help at all and people just being stuck. So
yeah, we were in the middle of
another city we had to go to, got us out quick.
Do you guys have like a definitive show that you've done that's like, that's the best show or the coolest show we've ever done, or just a few that are memorable?
Yeah. For me, probably Denver and Montreal on this last tour that we did with Electric Callboy. Those were probably our best shows, I would say.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We haven't done a ton of touring, but yeah, those were memorable. They had in Montreal, they had Sam get up on stage and play drums with them for one of their songs. So that was really cool. And that's her hometown.
Yeah.
Oh,
I live in
wow.
Montreal, so
Yeah.
it was like a special treat for the,
Heck
my
yeah.
home
That's
show.
awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Denver was just a beautiful venue. It was at the Fillmore. Just
Yeah, that's great.
great. It was packed. Like one thing we were a little bit concerned about, I think we would have similar concerns on any tour we were opening, where we're playing super early. Is anyone going to come early, et cetera? But this whole tour was sold out, and people came early. They came for all the bands. It was absolutely packed. So as an opener and as a support act, it was just really gratifying in that sense. And everyone on that tour package was
Always
awesome
support your
as well.
bands.
So the vibes were there. We
And
played well.
all bands while
it
you're
was
at a
super cool.
concert.
That's awesome. And it makes such a big difference when it's a good vibe with people out there.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be seeing like, this group of people for every day for a month or whatever. If they're not easy to get along with, that really sucks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like summer camp when you end up becoming really close with other bands. And it's like, it's a bittersweet thing, but when it's over, you're like, oh, we'll keep in touch. And sometimes you get to cross paths and tour again, but sometimes it's just those great moments you just lock in. Like we were fortunate enough to do Project Revolution back in, what was that, 2008 or 9? And that whole thing is almost, looking back at it and reflecting on it, was like surreal, that what we were part of and the bands that were part of that, and watching the bands and the musicians that we've idolized playing nightly. So
that was Linkin Park and Chris Cornell and stuff. And
wow.
So
honestly, of
awesome.
like all the people we've ever met over, the course of the whole career, Chris Cornell was one of the like few times where I literally was like a blubbering buffoon, like didn't even know how to form a sentence. There was something about that guy that like, I don't know what it was, but like even being in catering, I remember like being in line next to him and he'd be like, hey man, the carrots look great or something. And I'm like, yeah,
Deer in the headlights.
Some of those guys just carry that aura, that star power.
Yeah.
Watching him perform every night was like church. It was ridiculous. So
Must have been amazing. It must have been a good memory for you guys.
I was going to ask if you had a favorite most memorable show that you've ever played. And I know you've been a band for a long time now, but is there was it one of those shows on that run?
That whole tour for me personally was just, we were on the second stage, but we were like, it was us and Atreyu closing the second stage, but like it was same as like Family Values. Those traveling festivals back in the day packages were just huge. There were so many people and it was just such a thing to be part of. But I'd say the ones that kind of really blew my mind were we played in Japan, and I think it was it Muse and Linkin Park headlining. And we played at like what, noon or 1?
Yeah.
Like we were the second band to go on stage.
Wow.
And I think it held 120,000 people, and they were there from the beginning. So like you just walk out on stage and go, oh my God, this is what this looks like. This is what Metallica sees every day.
Yeah, must be.
I can't
nice.
even imagine. That's so cool.
The big festivals are cool. The like doing Rock 'em Ring and Rock 'em Park and Download and stuff like that over in Europe. Like we did it when it was, I think it was the anniversary of Master of Puppets. I can't remember how many years, but they played that record start to finish. And so getting to be around like Metallica and like, they do what they call the tuning room. So they've got this little area where they warm up before, and they had pipe and drape set up near the catering area was that in Germany? Maybe.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was in Germany. And they played for over 2 hours before they went on stage. They were in there jamming, and the only thing that separated me and my little Metallica t-shirt and them was just a sheet.
The curtains.
And so like every band on the festival was in there listening to them warming up. And it was insane because like Hetfield was in there singing he sang for like 2 hours and then gets in a car and goes to stage and does like a 2.5 hour long show. Crazy. And I'm like, man, if I sing 4 songs, my throat is like inflamed, it's like crazy.
Wow. That's insane. Yeah, that's definitely
so-
bucket list for us. We want to play Rock am Ring and all those European festivals. We're supposed to be going to Europe this year, fingers crossed. So it'll be our first European tour. So we're really excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
So
just
we
did
gotta,
one.
we
That was
gotta
4
learn.
months ago. So,
Yeah, got a lot to learn. Speaking of, what power converters do you guys use over in Europe?
Oh man, we when we were just there with 3 days grace, we had tons of weird power issues and stuff. Like
Oh. No.
every day there was something. And
Don't
so
tell me this.
Oh God.
luckily, between our crew and the 3 days grace crew, everyone was always taken care of. But every day, and these are like nice venues, but every day there was some sort of issue. So I mean, you'll make it through, but sometimes it would just get weird. I don't know. I was using a Helix for my car rig, and that is, I don't do anything crazy. It's pretty simple setup, Helix, and then I use like a 412 cab, but I swear, like every day there was like some weird thing happening.
The plus to it though is if you're over there with another band, there will be problems, but it usually, if they've got to work it out, they'll help you work it out too.
Sure.
Like we were blessed with that, but like the show has to go on, so they want everyone to be able to play. But it's you every day. You don't know what you're going to get, and the plugs are country to country. They just keep changing.
And I tour manage us, which I don't love doing at all. And then it's bad enough here in the States where you really know what's happening, but then over there, it was really tough. Like it was a challenge. So from that perspective, that was like one of the more stressful tours for me. But also the shows were amazing. So
that's good.
It was definitely had its pros and cons, but we love going over there. It's fun. It's just it's so interesting, and
different world.
The Europeans, they have a different ear too. They don't consume music the same way that the fans here in America do. Like Jesse and I actually have talked about this before, where it's so interesting how over there when we do meet and greets and stuff like that, fans will come up and immediately start talking about like our vocal harmonies and stuff. And it's like they're really hearing things that I like here in America. Very rarely do people come up and talk about harmonies and talk about technical things like that. And over there, it was like every day people were.
I think it's also cultural too. They're a little bit more direct than Americans, and they'll just tell you whatever they're thinking, especially in Eastern Europe or Germany. That was kind of our experience with our old drummer. Very straight to the point, no beating around the bush, no sugarcoating. And so, I could see that. That's kind of cool. We did get to go to Germany once. We filmed a music video with Electric Callboy, and they flew us out, and that was a lot of fun. We got to meet some of the fans there because they had a big audience for the filming of the video. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and they're from Germany, right? Is that their?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do really well.
Man, they're huge over there.
They're huge. They
they headline. They sell out arenas.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's wild to see like another like certain bands that just like Muse. I remember us being in Japan and Australia and those places and looking at these massive arenas and asking who plays these, who sells these out, and they'll say stuff like U2 and Linkin Park, and then they'll go Muse. And Muse is still a well-known name, but over here in the States, it's weird how certain areas it's just a massive difference. And Muse was like that.
It's really interesting.
Australian band Carnival, they do really well other places, and then over here.
I love Carnival. Yeah,
they're awesome.
We did I went with my husband. He's also a co-owner of Nail the Mix, Unstoppable Recording Machine, and one of the episodes was filmed in Australia, where we met with their producer and stuff. So that was pretty cool. I'm a Carnival fan.
I've loved that band for a while, and over here it's just, the name's just not as big.
What are some of your guys' favorite up and coming rock bands? Some newer bands.
Man, I just randomly stumbled across because I'll be listening to stuff, and like he said, we have such a tendency to just go back to what has always
Yeah.
influenced us. It's always been like all the rock bands we grew up with, and then we love to be depressed with Radiohead and stuff like that. But one that I just stumbled across that it just popped up as a recommendation, and I clicked it, as a band called Tiger Cub.
Okay.
And
I don't think I've heard of
really
them yet.
interesting. It almost sounds a little bit like Royal Blood, but the music's heavier and a little like almost grungier or darker, but it still has the vocals are not super, they're not heavy and screamy, but the music's super dark and interesting, and the music and the vocals are almost light and airy. It's a weird mix. But yeah, the Tiger Cub, they haven't.
That's cool.
What's the name of that thing? Perfume of Decay is so that
Okay.
I've been with that lately.
That's a
I'm gonna
name.
write that
I
down.
have not been listening to anything new at
The
all.
only thing he's listening to is these songs on repeat, driving himself crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I find myself listening to a lot of film score stuff. So like
Oh yeah.
I think from being in the studio, or like living in the studio, basically, like I'm so immersed here that I have to have something different when I get out of here, you know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I listen to a lot of chill step. I need a break from just listening to rock over and over again, especially as the primary writer in the band. I need something else to cleanse my palate.
Oh yeah,
So
Kristen's
I feel
driving
that.
music is like the opposite of what we sound like. It's like super chill, or it's like Aurora, or it's just like vibes, like chill vibes.
But
It's kind of a nice break.
It makes sense because I remember talking to Jonathan Davis from Korn forever ago when we were on Family Values, and he loved all this techno stuff. And it's like a lot of you don't expect you expect the musicians to love what they sound like. And I mean, you're inspired by so many different things. Like the only genre of music that I've just never really gotten into is country, but I listen to a lot of hip hop and stuff too. But I think that's what makes us as artists create things that become unique, is because there's so many influences that go into it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I pull a lot of influences from other genres, electronic and chill step, like she was saying, and just try to make it rock, I guess.
Do you find yourself when you sit and start writing, do you like rip yourself off a lot? I mean, like, do you sit and go, okay, I've done that, I need to find something else, and then you go, because this happens with me a lot, is this many albums later, like, so basically when we first started the band, I started it as a guitar player, wanting to be the guitar player, and then I ended up the drummer for like 15 years, and I still play drums on all the albums and everything, but I'm touring, or I'm playing guitar live now. But going all the way back to being in high school writing these riffs, I still find myself having such distinct like tendencies, and it's really hard sometimes for me to abandon the tendencies to try and do something different. Even when I sit down and I go, today I'm doing something completely different I've never done before. 20 minutes later, I have something that sounds exactly like 3 records ago, you know?
It happens for us too. I try to break out of that pattern. And we've worked with a couple co-writers here and there to kind of force us to think differently about things. But I think we all go back to our tendencies for sure.
When you write with other people, man, that really does open up a
Yes.
whole different dimension, because it's so odd. It's like, you know, even amongst each other, because sometimes with Jesse and I, when we attack a vocal part, you know, I might get ideas for a chorus or a pre-chorus or whatever, and then I tend to leave verses completely alone because I know that that's like his bread and butter, and he would come in with a verse idea, and in the back of my head, even though I don't share what I have, I go, I keep hearing this in the verse, but I'm curious what he's gonna have, and it's so completely nothing that I would ever come up with, and I love it though, because it's like, you know, it's like, how on earth did you even, like, where would that come into your brain? But
and then like other songs, it just, it's back and forth. Sometimes you'll have, I'll be stumped on a part, and like I've written to this verse or this bridge or this chorus over and over, and I just don't have anything that I like. I'm like, what do you hear? And sometimes it's great to get fresh ears on an idea that you're struggling with, But then on the opposite side, sometimes things come to you right away, and it's hard for you to let go of that if you hear this.
Yeah.
There's been certain times where we've butted heads a little bit, like, I hear this, it's just, I can't get this out of my head. And we find a compromise, and sometimes we'll take pieces of verses and choruses and just meld them together, just to kind of
that's cool.
Because at the end of the day, you have your tendencies, they're your personalities. That's why we end up always sounding like ourselves, because it's ourselves. But it's good to really open your mind to, and your kind of creative brain to what other people do, because it'll help you get outside of your own box.
Exactly.
One of the funnier things that Jesse does with me musically is that I, for whatever reason, will write like cohesive verse, chorus, or whatever. But then when it gets to, say, the bridge, my brain always wants the bridge to be the most badass riff of the song. Like, I want the bridge to be the freaking, that is like epicenter peak, you know, like, and he always is like, no, that has to be the chorus now.
Yeah, I'm like, you just made the best part of the whole song only in part of the song. That smokes the chorus. And he goes, really? And then we had producers. Howard Benson did this on a song. Yeah. And we've had other producers like, there's your chorus. That's not a bridge. That happens almost every time we go in the studio.
So I know that. And then I will sit and try to write, okay, I'm going to make the chorus the part. And it still doesn't work. I still end up, you know, so it's really funny how that works. But that's like the first thing he does. That's always his comment. All right, we'll move the bridge to the chorus.
Well, I
we
mean,
have one song.
Always trying to beat if the bridge is always trying to beat the chorus for its own separate thing, then you actually are. So yeah, it's funny how
there's one song we have called Afterthought, where I guess it's kind of a bridge, kind of an outro, where I've always wished that it was the chorus. And I don't know if Kristen knows this, but I've always wished that it was the chorus. The like secrets never sleep part. I've always wished that was the chorus, and I love this part. And like, if I was to repeat that song over and over, we haven't actually played that one live yet. But if we do, I'm just going to be like that. That's the pinnacle of that song for me. So it is interesting how, like, you know, you'll have like the primary songwriter and they kind of see it one way, and then there's someone else in the band and they're like, what? No, that's totally a chorus and whatever. And it's just, you know, it's like I love that whole song. You know, it's got a great chorus. But yeah, that's just like our personal preferences also come out a little bit.
Right. Well, and it's also easy for people like I'm, I guess, the predominant writer, but I live in a bubble too, right? And so this bubble is like, in my head, the song this way makes perfect sense. And then when somebody comes in and pops the bubble a little bit, it's like, wait a second, what?
Yeah.
But we've gotten to the point where it's like, we don't really fight about it anymore. We'll have loud discussions occasionally, but
yes, loud discussions, chat.
Having the studio and the ability to just try all the options, which can be a blessing and a curse. You can go, I don't hear that, but let's lay it down. He'll do that, which is a really cool democratic thing to do, is like, lay it down. Let's live with this version. Let's live with this version. And there's three of us, who, at least it's not two fighting each other. There's three core members. So it becomes a vote. So sometimes there's a swing vote, but like if you have different ideas, put them both down, sleep on them, because lots of times what's in my head, I can be sold that it's the right idea. And then we'll lay it down and I'll go, fuck, that's not nearly as cool as I thought it was here.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I have to sit on songs for a couple weeks, months sometimes, and I go back to it. I'm like, nope, that's not it.
Yeah.
I know I can beat that.
Right. There's times where he'll come in and suggest an edit of some sort, you know, and it's like, after I've spent a week on a mix or something, where I'm like, man, I finally have it. And then he's like, well, let's take the post chorus and make that this and do all this stuff. And I'm in my head, I'm like, this guy's insane. There's no possible way this is going to work, because sometimes the idea sounds completely nuts. And then we'll try it. And I'm like, I'm just doing this to appease him. It's not going to work. And then lo and behold, it's like, holy shit, that's perfect, you know? And then I'm glad that I gave it a shot, you know?
And then I've had ideas where I've done that and I'll go, oh, fuck, that clearly does not work. So the funny story is doing Feeding the Wolves with Howard Benson. We had one we'd gotten through the entire album pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
they said, well, you got time to lay one more down. And there was just this piece of a song that had started, that he and I had just started on in a hotel room one night. It was on acoustic. It wasn't developed at all. And they're like, if you got time to lay another one down. And I kept poking him and bugging him, like, that song, we got to lay that song down. And he didn't even have a full structure. He goes in drums first, no guitar, nothing.
Well, because I didn't have the riffs. I had a couple riffs, but I basically laid down a 6-minute long drum track that I just made up as I was playing it. And it was one take, and it was just like, okay, now I'm going to go in, grab a guitar, and just see how I'm just going to come up with it, like in the studio right in that moment. So
it was wild how that all happened, and it was really cool. And it was like, it ended up being a song called Fade Into. That's like the last song.
Oh, that's actually one of my favorite songs by you guys.
Oh, wow.
The funny thing about that,
I love that song. We actually
have
we have a song that we're working on for our next record that was inspired by like that mode of fading to the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Well,
such a good song.
Story on how that was is it came exactly like he's a madman to just be able to lay down drums with not knowing what the riffs are. And then they get it all laid down musically, and they leave, and I stay for another week or so finishing up vocals, and I've now got to write to this thing, and I'm listening to it, and I had parts that I liked, and the order and structure of it just was really bugging me and like clogging me up and stumping me on how to like finish it. And I heard it a different way. So I go into the engineer, Mike Plotnikoff, and say, hear me out. Can we cut this thing up and move it around? So I went, they didn't even know I was doing it. I'd gone in, and the middle had this big epic thing that I couldn't get past it being the crescendo, the ending. So I cut it up and moved it all around, and then it all made sense to me, and it ended up being what it is. And the first time they heard it was after it was done, and he was like, whoa, what? And
what did you
but
do
it
to
worked.
this? Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. It's definitely one of your more
That's the way to do
original, structure wise, but I love that song. I
Well,
was just playing it light. I was just playing it light.
that's wild. So we were actually staying at a hotel in Hollywood when we were starting to work on that. Well, it was before we started recording that album, but it was when we were like writing for it, because he and I used to go away to write some. We could do some work in Knoxville where we live, but there's a lot of distractions here. And so we would go off, and we had a hotel in Hollywood, and there was a bar right real close to the hotel, and we knew the people there, so we would go over there and just get absolutely obliterated like every night. And one night I went back to the room first, and I stumble back. I've got my acoustic guitar in there, and that the intro riff on that song, I wrote right then. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then Jesse comes in like an hour later, and I'm like playing that, and literally the first thing that comes out of his mouth is that broken shoulders resting on my back.
Good.
And it was like exactly as it is, like as it, the finished product was. And it was such a weird thing. Both of us were like not in the right state of mind, but somehow locked into whatever that song is. So
yeah, it's funny how stuff we can sit here, we can say we're going to show up 9 to 5 every day and sit in the studio and write the greatest stuff of our lives, and then that kind of stuff happens where we just go out and come back, and it just happens. So inspiration's a weird thing.
Creativity.
Honestly, my best vocal ideas come while I'm driving.
Yeah.
I do that a bunch.
Honestly, I don't know if it's the same thing as needing to pace while you're on the phone. For whatever reason, it gets the wheels turning, and so I like to drive and just loop it on repeat.
I actually used to write chapters of books.
That's really cool, though.
Well,
I'll have to send you guys the demo for
but
the
then
song
I'd
that was
forget
inspired
them by the time I got
song.
anywhere where I could write them down.
Yeah,
if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah, of course,
sure.
So like, how do you guys handle any kind of arrangement or song disputes and things like that? Is it pretty much pretty easy going, or?
It's pretty easy. Yeah. I do a majority of it. I'll structure a song out. I'll hear, modes or chord pins I like and just get like a really basic skeleton. And then I kind of hear notes in my head that I want to pair with that chord progression. I don't know. And then I pick a topic and kind of write from the title and work backwards. And then I'll sketch out like a song idea and send it over to, our singer or our guitar player. And then they kind of add their spin on it. But yeah, I'll structure out like the skeleton of a song.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it helps.
Little,
It helps keep the ball rolling.
we're long distance, so
Yeah,
that's kind of how we have to do it.
Yeah, and I think that most of the other members are, I mean, we're all fans of Kristen's writing as well, and it's just very well thought out, and like everything, is there for a reason, and we know how much effort and thought has been put into everything. And I think it's, at least since I've been part of the band, that there's not usually a whole lot of pushback, I think, structurally, in terms of the songs. Like, I don't, we're usually like, yeah, that's great. Like, I don't have any creative input on, should the chorus be the chorus? How does the verse sound? Like, we like, everything she does. So yeah.
Well, I mean,
there's always a little wiggle room, but
sure,
yeah.
sure.
He does the same. Like, he comes down in the studio every day, and it's just part of your everyday routine. Like, I have to make myself stop and feel inspired and stuff. He can almost come at it like an athlete, where it's just, as long as he keeps running through the motions, something will come of it. And that gives us so much material, which is very much a blessing to have that much material. But sometimes he'll write an album in a week and go, I got an album of material, and I'm like, slow down, let me pick through this. The great thing he does, though, is he's like, here's 30 songs. If you can find 5 of those that you like, that you want to work on, we'll go there. So that's cool. He likes, you like the muscle memory and movement of just writing constantly.
Yeah, but I do it in phases. It's not, because it's what I found, though, is that, like, especially with our other guitar player, Matt, when I send them a folder that's got literally like 30 or 40 songs in it, nobody knows where to start. And I get that, because even when I go back through and try to figure out, okay, how do we turn all these ideas into something real? It's overwhelming, because there's just so much happening. So, so yeah, it's like I go through a phase where I want to do a bunch all in for like 2 weeks straight. I'm in here 16 hours a day, just song after song after song, but then I won't do that again for months.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. It's almost like I'm like binging, and like, it's like a freaking bender,
Yeah.
But musically. But let me ask you this. I know we're doing this a long time now, but let's talk gear for just a second. Like, what are you guys using live? And then, like, in the studio, what's kind of like your approach?
So live, I'm on something similar to the Helix. It's kind of a step down. It's just Pod HD Pro. It's nothing crazy, like $300. It's not anything, but it has been tried and true. I've never had an issue. So I'm like, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely, yeah.
We switched off of amps and cabs in 2016, just because they'd get roughed around in the trailer, a couple tubes, and then we'd be in the middle of nowhere and can't find anybody to fix it. And so I'm like, it's too much. So we switched over to digital in like 2016. And then we're running through our whole show through an X32 with our and whatnot. And then for studio, we're just using plugins. So I use like Joey Sturgis Tones, Ben Bruce, and Jason Richards. But it's easy because it's my husband's company. So I'm like,
sure,
honey, send me some. I don't know anything about this. Just send me some plugins.
Yeah, that works.
And then we get we do a lot of our samples on Splice. So if you hear like if you listen to our song "Welcome to Paradise," I will go through and look for samples in that key, and so like the ending of that song is a crazy Middle Eastern instrument, and that was a splice sample that I found.
Nice.
Oh man, this would be perfect here. So
They lost their
Yeah.
drummer.
we're mostly digital, say.
Gotcha.
But yeah, what about you guys? Do you guys still play with cabs live?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And she's
We
back.
tried cabless for a little bit, and I hated it so much. I agree wholeheartedly on the going with the digital amp thing live, because I used to have like a 3 amp rig. I had a Bogner head, a Demeter head, and a JC 120 for clean, and it was like
Okay.
3 amps and 2 cabs and all this stuff, and it was like awesome, but it never worked. There was always a
Yeah,
problem.
exactly. Always an issue.
Yeah, always an issue. And I mean, exactly
You
like
were
you said,
blending those tones live then?
so I
were
had it set. It was like the Demeter head and the Bogner head were blended to make the dirty tone, and then the
Okay.
Roland JC 120 was just by itself for the clean.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was an awesome sounding rig, but I mean, literally,
Yeah,
I barely
something
went a
always
show
wrong.
without having an issue. So when we
Yeah.
went to Europe in, I think it was maybe 2018 or something like that, I got the Helix for that. And then it was so easy and so like stress-free that when we came
Yeah.
back from that, I was like, I'm going to try this thing here too. And the ticket was using a 412 on stage. I used a 212 for a while, but I like the 412 better. But still having the cab on stage and feeling, a little bit of that movement and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But it's the same Helix I've had since that Europe trip in 2018, and never had any issues, knock on wood. But
No, that's definitely I don't even deal with the gear, but just helping them figure out how to fix it every day, especially with the tube amps and stuff. Like the Helix has been a good like just backbone for us on touring.
It's great. And I think the other cool thing for me at least was getting rid of my pedal board. I was tap dancing.
Yeah.
And if somebody, you're in between bands and you set your gear up and then stumps into it and a cable comes out, and then you get up to play and there's no coming out. You can't find which cable is disconnected. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we had a couple nightmares happen. And I'm like, never again. I'm switching to digital.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But
You get the
Well, it
cane.
was awesome talking to you guys.
yeah, I'm sure we're gonna run into you guys at some point, and maybe we can do some shows at some point, or
I would love
we're gonna be
that.
touring a lot, and it seems like you guys are too. So
That would be awesome. Bucket list for me as a longtime fan of you guys. So very cool.
oh, that's very kind. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and the candidness and the questions and all the stories, and there's so much more to know, but I mean, I know we're limited
Yeah.
on time. So
All right. Well, hopefully
Thanks
we'll
so
talk
much.
to you guys soon.
yeah,
Yeah,
great to meet
absolutely.
you.
All right, see you guys.
Awesome. Talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm going to cut it there. So, I think that gives us a pretty good look at the bands. Though, I still don't know who is who, per se. I am horrible with names. But I think we've got a pretty good look at the band. We even got some behind the scenes. So, I think that's going to be it for today. I think it was fun. I hope you enjoyed. I'm not sure what is going to be the case for next Sunday. I have a few options. There's a list. I'm not going to bring it up right this second, but there's a list of bands I have yet to cover, but I plan to. So we'll take a look and see what's going to be next Sunday. Also, I have more of the warning stuff coming out. I need to get a chance to sit down and do those, and it just has not happened as of late. So Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I think that's it. So, with that, have fun, take care, and see you later. Bye.